Can we be real for a second that most of these new Batman comics have been very mediocre? The new issue 1 by Matt Fraction wasn't good. It was filler, let's be real. Absolute Batman has just been hype moment after hype moment, and that said, no real substance. But this right here, Detective Comics 1101 by Tom Taylor and Mikel Janin, it's beautiful. First of all, just looking at the art, bro, this is the best Batman artist. Mikel Janin is the best Batman artist. He is coloring his own art, by the way. He's doing everything: pencils, inks, color. Everything about this looks freaking beautiful. It has a hint of that psychedelic feel from the original Killing Joke colors, but just the way Batman looks too, oh my god. But not just the art, the actual story in this issue is very good. It's pretty much a detective story. And guys, when I tell you the detective story was so good, it felt like I was reliving playing the Batman Arkham games where you would do the detective stuff and, you know, deduce the crime scenes. Batman essentially encounters the ships and there are a bunch of dead bodies out of nowhere. But you solve the crime with Batman. Piece by piece, evidence by evidence. First, he figures out that people were fighting. Some of the deaths were caused by people fighting, but none of them had any defensive wounds. They fought to the death with no hesitation. Also, nobody on the shipping deck was wearing a life jacket, even though they were in deep, deep water. Another weird thing. Then he sees another guy who had died from a snapped neck, which he had jumped from an elevation. However, Batman noticed that the guy had no injuries on his arms or hands, because usually when you're falling from a great distance, you will try to break your fall somehow, you know, by using your arms or hands. But this guy didn't do at all. He just fell head first and broke his neck. Which credit to Tom Taylor for even researching all of that stuff. But what Batman deduces is that these people, their brains were kind of corrupted. They had a virus that made them lose their flight response, you know, fight or flight. They only had fight. They essentially had no fear. That's why all of these things were happening. They weren't worried about their own safety. And bro, at the end of the issue, we get a Mr. Terrific cameo and they're gonna team up in the next issue. And dog, this is the best Mr. Terrific has ever looked. This man looks beautiful, no diddy. Mikel Janin is my new definitive artist for Mr. Terrific after reading this. This is brilliant work. If you want a really good Batman detective story, go read Detective Comics by Tom Taylor and Mikel Janin.